My name is Rhapsody, his name is sneakyteak, and welcome back to the Ladder Streak for another week. How's it going, bud?
Hi.
It's going high with both of us here. We're
Hello.
high off of the energy of getting into an Ironclad run. The Ironclad
doing
had
well.
some of the most... Oh, great. Okay, so, sorry, what we're working with here is a delay of the kind of, like, the weathercaster talking to the
It's jet
forecaster
lag.
back at base. Exactly.
I'm traveling to Australia.
Thank you
can't
again,
expect
by
me
the
to
way,
be
for having made the trip.
Perfectly responsive. You know, when you think about it, have you ever thought about this actually? Consider this. When human beings who speak the same human language, which is already an incredible construct, are having a conversation, a free-flowing conversation, the type that we, imagine from the before times or that we see in movies. They're able to do so with no pause between individuals contributing to the conversation. That's kind of incredible, right? We're engaging with like really deep abstract thoughts, but we're also inserting ourselves back into spoken word like instantly.
Mm-hmm.
How can that be? How do we do that?
I imagine there's like a bunch of shortcuts in the head. Like I have an idea of the ballpark of my response halfway through the sentence that I've heard, so I know what I'm working with, and then unless the end changes it, I kind of already have a vague idea of the sentence in my head. But that is just like the translation has been happening while I'm hearing of their language into a thought, into a adjacent thought, into language, just at real time at a hell of a clip.
That's still amazing, right? But I think you're right that conversational communication has bloat, it has inefficiency, and that's on purpose. It's not actually instant. We're given some time to construct our ideas. And when I start speaking, I have no clue what I'm going to say at the end of what I'm saying, right? But like I'm bridging myself in. I know how to intro it. And so you're kind of buying yourself time to find that next point.
I was actually about to take off exactly that point. So I haven't thought about specifically the kind of like translation factor and kind of like the speed at which that occurs. But I do, and actually over the last fortnight specifically, have been thinking a lot about the kind of signal to noise ratio of communication and of how many kind of like, here's a metaphor. A choir, right? You got a choir of 55 people. A couple of them hit a couple bad notes, but you hear the choir together and you don't hear those. What you hear is the kind of like choral effect. And in my mind, communication works in a little way like that. Like if you wrote out a script of every single conversation, eventually you'd be able to point to something and go, this never gets addressed again. This isn't relevant. This was said clearly because the person mistook what the other person was saying.
That's true.
But those
God
get
forbid
so
we try to
quickly
critically
fixed.
analyze conversations, right? I mean, you wouldn't want someone to try to read it as a critical masterpiece and break it apart. Yeah.
Exactly, because
You
they're not...
shouldn't watch this, is what we're saying. Just zone out.
Zone out and enjoy it with us. We're going to get a rupture in the first square. We're going to get a hemokinesis right after. It's going to be a great time.
Toma.
I was about to say
Hematoma.
hemokinesis, which is nothing.
Hemochemicals. It's those blood jewels.
It's those little parts
Are
of
we
what is
still
blood. That is a good question, right? We haven't discussed that yet.
Max-elites?
Are we still max elites? Because if we are, we got a juicy 5.
I love max elites. We get to fight 4 elites in Act 1.
So if we're doing max elites now, do we want to do max elites for the first 2 cycles, so up until Ascension 8?
Sure. Honestly, it's heuristically not a bad idea for that far. The odds of us just dying to elites before they take off again at like Ascension 18, we probably okay. It's not to say that there won't be a run for Silent to where trying to path through 4 elites in Act 1 with no fires kills us, because certainly that exists.
It could totally happen. And in those circumstances, though, there is a level of play that gets brought out. Like, hey, maybe that slice is worth something now. We just need damage.
Yeah.
Although, having a look at our current options here, we've got some spicy boys. Random rare, enemies in X3 combats that could path us into the first elite. There's 2 normal fights before that.
Oh,
Lose
actually,
8 max
it's fairly
for
likely.
transform 2 as well. and then there's
That's
the
not
Starter
bad.
Relic.
So the question is, dude, let's just transform.
Okay, cool. Double defend.
I don't. Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. We're going to Dinny. Flex clothesline, nice pick. Do we hit the store too?
Ooh.
I like it for a potion with 4 leads.
Oh wow.
Like I would
yeah.
just pay for a fire pot.
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, gladly pay for a fire pot.
Okay. That's 17 for the backliner.
Ooh, nice.
Flex just gets us over the line there as well. Ooh.
There's the bludgerocution that you were hoping for. Who,
Mm.
may I ask, is our bows?
Those are great questions. The Guardian.
So, well, I want to hear what you think here. And then I'll tell you what I think.
So with the clothesline in the deck, we already have a little bit more density of energy, but also we've removed it almost immediately with the flex. The bloodletting itself, like, if we took bloodletting right now, it would almost never, not almost never, sorry, quite rarely would it actually be a card we wanted to have in that hand. It's very much an investment in our future, the possibility of picking up more rare cards, as well as the possibility of picking up Rupture, anything that synergizes with self-damage. It
And
would be an
increasingly,
investment.
I'm thinking
pick,
of
so-
bloodletting kind of like Turbo. Like, I honestly, it's a lot better than it used to be.
That's kind of where I'm at the moment. I
What about this
I could
metallicize?
see, yeah, I could see the metallicize for the upcoming elites. So
What
there's
a
like the
boss?
speculative, and then there's the value pick.
What
And the
about
Guardian,
Perfected
yeah.
Strike?
It's reasonable against the Guardian. Perfected Strike I don't love as much because I feel like I'm quite likely to want to remove strikes.
In the long run, that's for sure. I have actually won a run on Perfected Strikes before, but I'm also very willing to build a 45 card deck that's like, 6 Perfected Strikes and 4 Pommel Strikes and 2 Twin Strikes or something, and that's all the damage for the whole run.
I gotta say, I'm not mad about the idea of trying to lean that way. We've got a flex, which synergizes really well with Twin Strike.
True.
A lot of the time, if I am going to have a Perfected Strike build, a lot of the time I will end up with a flex or 2 in there. Maybe 1 just upgraded.
Yeah.
It's
Truthfully, I
damage
think
elite.
this is Metallicize. Because we have to live through Sentries most of the time and Guardian always. And we removed 2 defends. That's a nice, dense, long fight defend card, which is exactly what Guardian is. I do not think we would regret that card. And with such a density of attacks and a turbo or a flex right now, we don't really need the Perfected Strike to the level that we might have. So, but it is a cool run. The 10 Perfected Strike runs is pretty hilarious.
Yeah, the value of each of these is going to be determinant upon what we find in the near future. This is independently valuable by itself at the moment. So let's take this, and then we'll see what the store gives us.
It's an alright store. Yes?
Panacea, we upgrade flex.
Okay. Okay. I like this build. Sure.
Unfortunately,
I like
means
it better
no
than
potion.
Rampage, which was what I was thinking about.
Rampage is so good for the first floor. It's a bit...
And we effectively removed 2 starting cards.
It's true. Just a bit harder to keep it around and comfortable to use for much longer than that. 16. Yikes. 28, 9, 20. Wow. 18, 27, 27.
Yeah, but the clothesline is block. 9 damage Jawworm is really not terrible.
Yeah, it could be a lot worse.
So, okay. Fun consideration. I almost reached through our local area network here in Australia and clicked on that Battle Trance. Just like full stop. We've got 2 0 cost cards. We're ironclad. We struggle for draw, but you cannot draw additional cards this turn is a debuff. Which actually does matter here if core part of our plan is turning this strength permanent. In which case,
I'll say on the other side, Both
sword.
of these carry strength damage quite effectively.
Yeah. Yeah, really well.
I think we probably want the directed one, though, so that we can use it most effectively against the Sentinels.
Interesting.
Sentries.
You take the twin over sword?
I'd take the twin now. Once I'm starting to get nuttier damage numbers and once I have more directed damage, I would take the sword boomerang afterwards. But, so yeah, it carries an extra strength. I mean, I take the sword boomerang
They were all
here
good picks.
100% of the time.
There's no regrets. That's funny. I think it'll be okay because of the metallicize. Ooh. This might actually be a removal. In fact, I think it is. I think it's cut a strike.
I can see that. Hang on. Got... Okay, so we can duck out on this. We can rest after the first elite if need be. Like, if we have just an awful fight.
But we're going to want to upgrade if we can.
Yep.
Hello, Grimlanius. Ooh.
Do we even metallicize here?
No. Maybe there was a calc to do there because we're going to have to cycle the deck. So maybe there is a world where we metallicize to increase the chance of killing on turn 3. Okay.
So the output would be 18 this turn, taking the enemy down to 15 HP.
Which we can always do.
So the worst case scenario would be Flex is at the bottom, so is Sword Boomerang and a Strike. Sorry, Flex and Sword Boomerang are at the bottom, and then we still have 18 in hand, so yeah, you're right.
Even if we got, like, Defend, Metallicize, Flex, Strike, it was still there.
It's not nothing.
Akabeko is great. Are you tempted just to have, like, a bludgeon?
Mm-hmm. Big single target means a hell of a lot in the in the possible fight against the Lagavulin especially.
Ooh, but we have Akabeko now too.
Mm-hmm. So the AoE output of the cleave in the Sentinel fight is ridiculous.
Yeah, and like, what is bludgeon killing for us right now, right?
Yeah, it's just getting a decent amount of the way there.
Bludgeon's funny because Bludgeon is a card that, like, I'm usually incredibly excited about in Act 1, and then I'm all right with in Act 2, and then in Act 3, it's either basically a dead card in the deck, or it's my whole plan because I have Snecko Eye and 3 Bludgeons. And with Akabeko and Flex already, like, we might already be past it.
We may. And, like, if we're going Akabeko, Flex, both of those want small cards that deal a bunch of hits. Cleave, Sword Boomerang, other
and it
strength
solves an unsolved
synergizing
problem,
things.
which is we don't have AoE for the... It's not even Tri-Sentries I'm worried about. It's Penta Slimes and Quad Gremlins.
Take the health here so we can upgrade.
Heck yes, absolutely. The question is just, what's the upgrade?
I'm thinking Flex first, then Panacea. Or Bash Clothesline, we could actually consider those, but I think Flex first, definitely.
I like Flex first because then it's more poppy when it hits our hand too. Even if it's not perma strength, it's just good damage. Hey, Nunchaku. You are going somewhere, Goku. Metallicize, I guess, was an upgrade that was good. Sword Boomerang also works quite nicely with Akabeko. Let me see. Do you Blessing this?
Yeah, right. Blessing, go for the Metallicize, the Defend, pop the Sword Boomerang, have a 4th hit on it. Then we have the possibility of picking up the Cleave in the next hand, Flex possibility as well. Unless this hits 3 on the single same target, it's way better.
It's going to be 4.
Let's do it. I like it.
I was even contemplating doing just another strike there at the end too, since we might be able to kill a sentry. But we might be able to go damage free.
I think almost every other hand was going to guarantee that we could kill a sentry as well next.
Yeah. Nice to get that online. That's cool.
Take 1 damage so far in this fight.
Begin the small damage. Ooh, do we have the kill? Heck yeah.
Yup. We only have 1 defend in the deck though, so... Oh, but never mind.
1 damage Tri-Sentries and a Vajra. Rhapsody.
Is a pre-lifted gear.
Are going somewhere. You want to skip?
I do want to skip. I'm just thinking if maybe I'm underestimating the possibility of like dual wield, metallicize, dual wield, as well as some of the other cheap attacks.
Dual wield metallicize is legit, and I would not be offended by taking a dual wield here. The trouble with dual wield is that it does really like to be upgraded, and we already really want to upgrade the rest of our deck, and it won't be really there for a while. And we're gonna take tons of fights, so we might see one. I'm trying to train myself to quit eagerly taking great unupgraded cards and then being stuck with hella upgrade debt for the rest of my life. It's hard.
Yeah, it can be pretty rough.
Okay, but so, a True Grit.
True Grit is kind of interesting here as well. It gives us the ability to thin down the deck, gives us the ability to get back to things like the Flex, the Sword Boomerang more consistently. My immediate thought right now is think about exactly how much upgrade debt we're holding, right? Bash, Clothesline, Metallicize, Panacea, Sword Boomerang. 5.
Yeah, all of those things. I'm happy to upgrade everything in the deck, but particularly Bash basically needs it. Sword Boomerang really wants it, and we desire to Panacea as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Metallicize and Clothesline we can leave to the wayside for a moment. I do want the Clothesline upgrade at least before the next floor. But we may not get
True Grit doesn't need to be upgraded, and I'd be happy with an unupgraded True Grit in this deck. I think we'll be glad to have one more card that says block on it, and we'll be glad to be able to have... The deck is so small that it makes a real meaningful impact over a couple cycles.
Yeah,
and you'll be able to basically always have Flex Sword.
Oh, sorry, Flex Sword.
Sounded like I cut out, right? Flex Sword.
I do that. That's one of my favorite jokes is sounding like I'm about to continue talking and then just ending the sentence. But
it could have been a good play.
So we've got Flex Sword. Yeah, that exact kind of thing. So I agree. And I think one of the big reasons I agree here is because if we want to keep cards and like Bash, Sword Boomerang about, Flex definitely. If we want to keep cards, we can just play them before the True Grit. Yeah. We haven't got too high of a cost for that to be a problem for us.
There's nothing that we like are needing to roll and not play. Oh my gosh, we're so strong. Nice turn.
Hella damage.
Right? Do we play the Panacea?
We're not guaranteed to get back to it in time before it's actually useful, because Flex isn't in the draw pile. I think it's just Sword Boomerang Strike, and then maybe even True Grit.
Is it Fire Pot?
It's 2 strength to the enemy. It could be Fire Pot. We've definitely got
damage.
lethal next hand. Yeah, it's so 9 damage comes through. We are going to be healing 3 of that anyway, so 6 damage for the Fire Pot. No, we keep it.
Yeah. We're overthinking it.
It's just stinking overthinking. Ooh, got ourselves a pair there for a little bit more max HP. If we didn't already have the Clothesline, I'd be more keen on that uppercut as it currently stands. That Thunderclap doesn't look bad though. Carries our strength.
T-Clap gets us a lot closer to just saying Bash can go.
Mm-hmm. Go suck an egg, Bash. Okay. Here's my proposition. We go for the question mark instead of the enemy.
Okay, why?
Because there are a lot of really good events on floor 1. Removal, the possibility of just straight up gaining money, possibility of straight up gaining relics as well.
And we can afford the health if it's shining.
Mm-hmm. And we also have like a lot of cards in the deck at the moment that still want an upgrade, and it kind of functions as it currently is.
Removal transform event. It's strong.
Hey, and if it's just a fight, it's just a fight.
It was gonna be a fight, and so it was. Wow. Did you know that Akabeko can be powerful with the right card?
Huh. Say more on that. Akabeko.
Do you want to
good?
Do you want to flambe?
Kind of, right? Good. A little bit of dense defense in this deck makes sense.
Dense fence. I really like this card. I wish that it had a plus sign on it, but It's a good card. And it's particularly good for, like, I'm ultra confident at Guardian when we take this, especially with True Grit. I'm much more confident about Birds, which we're already pretty good at, Book of Stabbing, which we could afford to get slightly better at, the Heart in the in-game. Like, a handful of Flame Barriers on 4 energy can win the Heart fight. In terms of having just enough block to get through, 8 turns, and also doing damage back.
I don't think we attack here. We keep the Arcabeco charge for either Cleave or Sword Boomerang.
Just Flambe. Yeah, I agree, especially with regen. Good chance we're using Fire Pot here. Good chance, but maybe not. If we can hold, it's good. It's the same on either, I guess.
Yeah, it is.
Doesn't matter.
So it's just, are we going to double defend at all? I mean, maybe we use the Fire Pot this turn, right? Thunderclap as well as Cleave. All right, we'll 13, and then this will be...
Rocco.
Yeah, exactly.
9. It'll be good. Yeah, we can kill the back line that way. And then still defend. Man. Honestly, we could probably have taken the whole hit, but I don't think we'll regret it. Certainly using health. We don't need to use that much health as a resource. Stinky numbers, man. Stinky numbers.
Stinky. I just want numbers where the wheel won't fall off while I'm driving. Feed! Thank you, sorry. I don't know what just happened.
I got very excited suddenly, and it was strange. You want to just upgrade the feed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that content. Good.
All right.
We're going to eat this onion.
Let's get a Reaper as well as a result of the fight. It's calling my shot on that one.
What else do you want?
Sandwich? Limit Break.
Limit Break, okay.
I think I'd take Limit Break.
Anything else? Like Pandora's Box?
I mean... Yeah, Pandora's Box, actually, and then the Defend and the 3 strikes become 4 copies of Limit Break. Actually, no, 2 Limit Breaks and 2 Reapers. I think that's... Yeah, let's aim for that. Let's plan around that.
Yeah.
I don't think we use the feed with the enemy on the ground. It's going to be so easy for us to kill this enemy that we have the ability to get the health from it, I think.
Yeah, but do you think our end game is like full eggheads, or do you think it's mix egghead mage?
Look, I think we cut the mages deep.
We
can't feed the mages. If you don't necessarily know what we're referencing, there is a episode.
That's because it doesn't exist yet.
Oh God! Wait, hang on. No, if I actually ended up splitting that up into 2 episodes, then it may have gone up on both days.
I'm loving because of the way that we record these. I am in love with these ridiculous extemporal jokes that I can make. References to content that doesn't exist yet. That delights me in a way that nothing has ever delighted me as a creator. It is playing God. Absolutely.
It is good fun. I will say, interestingly there, I should not have used the flex before I attacked for the first time. I gave them the 20 armor before I hit them with something else, rather than just going under and going over.
No, you're right. We could have done another, like 16 damage or something. 14 damage. True. But is it gonna matter?
No. It will not.
No. Good turn. 1, 2, 3 block cards. We can lose either of these things.
It is, but also we could just keep up the vulnerability, and we've got a dense attack coming up. Like, there's a world where we bash True Grit or bash Metallicize. We cop that on the chin. We're going to be healing less after this battle, but it keeps up the vulnerability. We put the enemy down before they attack next turn, because unless we get the Flame Barrier for the next turn, we're wanting them to sit down again.
And can we do enough to do that?
With 5 strength? Definitely. With the vulnerability added onto it.
Then just use the Thunderclap. Just Metallicize Thunderclap True Grit.
Love it.
That way we're not taking, 16 unneeded damage or whatever.
That's the middle ground I needed. Okay, we can put the enemy on the ground. The Flame Barrier wouldn't have defended us entirely, but yeah. But at least they get the weak from it.
That's a great setup.
We still
now
have
I've
to
got
throw the
Animal
24.
Crossing in my head. I haven't played that game in like a year, but it saved my 2020.
It really did for a lot of people.
I think it saved a lot of people.
I kind of wish I was more in the Animal Crossing realm. I only recently started to play Bowser's Fury, the Mario 3D World game.
Yeah.
It's my first Nintendo
more?
game in a long time. Yeah, no, I've been playing it like every other day, just like finishing one
Nice.
level perfect and then just
They're
going off to bed.
perfect for that. Those
They
kinds of
really
games
are.
perfect for that. You feel no remorse for your engagement.
It's very low stakes engagement. I want to get the enemies so that we definitely get feed for the kill. So I'm thinking like Thunderclap, Sword Boomerang. We can hedge the
Are we gonna struggle with that, though?
afterwards. Well, it's more like we would have to wait another cycle of the deck if we don't get them closer now. Right, this is 24 incoming damage, upgrades to 36 with 9 prior to it. That's 45. Leaves us in the ability to just any attack sets up for feed for the kill.
Sure. Just True Grit. Take our 15.
Just a couple lumps there. Chomp.
Bomb. But what if eat more bad guys?
How
Actually,
hungry
is
are
this
we,
Berserk?
Teak?
Wait, I think this Berserk is very strong. We have a Panacea in the deck.
We do.
I think this is Berserk. I feel really good about this Berserk. We have a feed. All we have to do is find a dual wield or exhume, and we can still eat everything forever.
That's
Granted,
true.
that's an uncommon and a rare card. And we've already skipped one dual wield, which we know means that it's removed from the card pool.
Yeah, it's taken offense. It's off to playing someone else's game. The consideration on my part here is Berserk, unless we're panaceaing its effect, and that's not always going to happen.
You don't have to. It's only one vulnerable on upgrade too.
True. But it's like anti-defense in a deck that is already light on defense.
True.
I guess I don't know if we're getting an energy relic after this point.
That's
We
the
have
thing.
2 pseudo energy
That's
relics.
like the one way that Ironclad loses this run is we just fail to find any energy, and we can't figure out how to curve out. I think second feed would be it makes the Runic Pyramid very takeable too.
Exceedingly. I think we need to think about how this deck is going to function now, because we can hold Flex and Panacea in the same hand. We can hold enough cards that we cycle a deck holding 5 cards out of the cycle, getting back to Flex and things more constantly. Yeah,
it's got to be Pyramid, right? It's like so strong here.
Oh,
Berserk,
yeah, no.
Open that up. I think if we didn't have Berserk, we would have to really think with Max Elites, do we need to take Curse Key?
You're right. Yep, I definitely felt a lot better about that because of the Berserk. Otherwise, it would have been rough to think
Triple
about.
Elite
Actually, is there a Triple Elite path? I can only see doubles.
Oh, wow, you're right. They're offset, aren't they? I saw the 2 Elites.
That's better because Elite, rest, Elite, rest, rest.
Yeah, and we need upgrades.
We're heavy on upgrade debt at the moment.
Where's our merch? Where can I make purchase?
This one cannot be on any of our lines, Max Elite. This one can be. This one can be. We can just dive out instead of getting another upgrade at the very end.
That might
Unfortunately, early merchants, none, unless we take this path that has no midline rest until the very end.
Okay. So we go left. I like left. Left has a lot of upfront fights, so it's not without risk. But we'll make it. And once the feeds... We actually like fights, right? Because if we're confident, the more fights we fight, the more max HP we are getting. Bruh. Remember also we have Runic Pyramids, so there may be times to where we hold that flex.
Definitely.
Clothesline was a full block there.
Oh, yeah, of course. Oh, I forgot about that one. All right.
Just curious.
Flame Barrier, True Grit, 19. Incoming damage is slightly higher than that, but it's still probably the best play we make.
Good. Let's get the Panacea down, I guess, too.
Yeah, I don't want to burn that. I should have held the flex. The enemies weren't on the ground yet.
Oh, it's all good. These
Oh, we
enemies
took
are on
no
the ground
damage.
now. Yeah, yeah. These enemies are super dead.
1.
Oh, nice.
2.
Nice. Getting the nunchaku.
Yeah,
Isn't it funny? Like, once you start looking for it, how many places there are to micro this game? It's just everywhere.
I was trying to manage it last floor, but every single time I tried to manage it, I hit exactly 10 before the end of the fight because we just needed to use another attack.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I gotta do it now. I don't think we can take a pommel strike in his position.
Warcry is cute.
It
does nothing for us right now. Literally, the reason that you take a Warcry with Runic Pyramid is just so that full hand exhaust effects are easier to play around specific cards. Like if we take a Fiendfire, or if we take, what's the uncommon attack that exhausts all of your non-attacks?
Oh my god,
The 2 cost. I know,
I've
you
not
forget 'cause
drafted
we
that
don't
in a
take-
million years.
But it's not a bad card, and it can be an answer to real key problems. But then, like, how do I protect my limit break? How do I protect my impervious?
Yeah, we can take a Warcry. I am worried about the possibility of drawing so many dead cards we want to defend, right? Defend, Metallicized, True Grit, Flame Barrier. 5 cards. Clothesline as well. 6 cards in the entire deck that give us a defensive factor. It's another card that we have to draw past to get to them.
Warcry is self-replacing. I guess you have to, like,
After it's
because
upgraded.
of the replacement effect. Then you're in a weird. I'm like, on the turn you draw it, you see the same amount of cards that you would have seen.
Yes, but you
does
have to
reduce
draw
your
past an
velocity
extra
through the
cards.
deck.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
sorry. I'm talking about the
Yes.
velocity through the deck rather than the amount of cards seen.
Yeah. We skip. It's very cutesy. I just thought I'd mention it because, you know, little tech like that.
Yeah,
Be surprised.
That could end up like being foreshadowing. That can be something that happened at a point. I guess we could have held
Happy
that to try
Flower
and
is
prevent
so
the
nice.
frailty. It's been super useful. Just pop out attacks, metallicize as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Open the hand. So, are we blocking the vulnerable instead of the frail? I think so. I think Berserk Flame Barrier is our turn, right?
Yep.
Also, our Nunchaku will be on 8 after this turn, which means we can like clear our hand soon. So Panacea really wants an upgrade now.
Pretty desperately. Don't love this.
I'm not sure
Also,
I've
True
ever
Grit
bought a
kinda wants an
Panacea
upgrade
in
now
the
as well.
first shop. That might be the first time I've ever done that, Raps.
Look, I
love the card, and I've bought Panacea, but I'm not sure I've ever bought it in Act 1 like that.
It's definitely a bit off kilt, but having a flex already is just
It's great.
seems good.
Can we
it's
win?
the 50 HP on the enemy. No, I don't think we can, right?
No flex.
Yeah, it's like
So it's just
9,
block.
7, 7, so 23, 36.
much is the clothesline?
Nunchaku goes off. The clothesline's 36,
So
actually.
we do have
Hang
an
on.
energy pot.
Yeah, if we energy pot, we can finish this off. I think we should. This is so much damage we're about to take. And we're frail.
It's a lot of savings, and if we don't, we'll be inclined to use the True Grit, which will be fairly likely to kill our feed, or like at least could.
This also does leave us with the Happy Flower for the first turn of the
Set
next
up.
combat. It's pre-upped, and there are a lot of AoE fights this floor. Anger's also 0 cost, and we can hold it in hand. Scales strength gives us
May I see the
better
deck?
rewards from a couple turns. Sure. Yeah, top line's just strike, 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 defend.
How likely is it that we can get a couple cards out of the deck this act?
Extremely unlikely. With enemy, elite, rest, elite, chest, rest, 1 guaranteed shop if we go there. So extremely unlikely.
I really want this cleave. I think we might still have to take it. Just because 2 cleaves predicts such a better Tri-Slavers, 2 cleaves predicts such a better Gremlin Leader, 2 cleaves predicts a much better fight right here. There's so many fights that are likely to do 25 damage to us, that, I mean, we save 12 life by that pick.
I agree with that. I kind of wanted to put the thumb on the scale for it, if not otherwise. Do we Panacea Berserk here? I think we do, right? Because if we're gonna pop the flex pod, it's gonna be on a turn where we're killing anyway.
Yeah, agreed.
And then Flame Barrier defend, or do we throw out the cleave? Flame Barrier definitely goes out, right?
We might Flame Barrier defend, because then we can Thunderclap cleave.
Really or flex cleave.
Yeah.
Quite likely we managed to hit at least one of those.
One of those two is likely in the sand, exactly.
There it is.
Boom.
So the feed is 19. We can take a target out with that instantly.
Nice.
And then we could True Grit.
True Grit.
So we'll be taking 10 here. We'll heal 6 at the end of the fight anyway.
We're right on the edge of the threshold. Like, there's a certain point where feed takes off and you start having so much health that you can afford to lose health to gain more. Nice.
Sorry. No input on that.
No,
it's spot weakness.
I ain't mad. It's nice. And
we
have Runic Pyramid. It solves the one problem.
Yo!
Right?
We have a Runic Pyramid. We can't let him give him those.
But it's good that we have Panacea. Yeah. Snecko. What's that?
Snack
Confusion.
no.
Snack.
Snecko attacks every single turn, so if we're not attacking the enemy this turn, that would be like Flame Barrier defend. We can hold the spot weakness for a later turn.
Which is fine, because we have another energy next turn with Happy Flower. Which frees us up to do like a clothesline or whatever we need to do. I guess with Metallicize, maybe just Flame Barrier and Spot was acceptable. I didn't really think about that.
It still ended up saving HP there, at least. This feels worse. Is this clothesline defend True Grit? Do we win? That's the bold question. It'd be Flex, Spot Weakness, Thunderclap, Sword Boomerang, Cleave, right? 9 strength. So this is upgraded by 8 here. 13. So it's 13. Then the vulnerability on top of this, as well as having 9. So 9, 12, 36.
They're 12s. They become 18s. 18, 36, 54.
On top of
already 13.
Previous 13. 13,
and
54
we get one more attack.
67. And then the Cleave with 8 more on it. 17 with vulnerability. Takes that to another
25.
8. 25. That's... I'm running the numbers in my head, and they're coming up good.
The question is, are we willing to not feed? Because if we defend on this turn, we block for 13, we take 5, and we can certainly spot weakness and then win next turn with a feed. That's probably correct to do.
How about we half the turn, right? So we flex spot weakness this turn. Defend and True Grit also go out. So I guess we cleave, right? Leaving Sword Boomerang and Thunderclap possibly in hand, but we do have the draw into enough other hits. I guess, no, but we don't want to flex this turn. So we don't flex this turn. That's it, right? We try and leave that in hand. So it's spot weakness, defend, True Grit. Then an attack that's free, like a strike.
What if it's just spot, defend, clothesline?
Yeah. Yeah.
13, and we block for 8, we take 5, and then we don't have a chance of True Gritting away the flex, which makes our next turn much cleaner.
Yep. I like it.
Cool.
There's no way this ends up running over, right? 36.
Oh god, no, you're totally right. I think it does. Good call.
Oh, it's okay. We'll use a different attack.
Okay.
Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah, good thinking. We're good. We're sauced.
We are sauced up on attacks at the moment, but I am thinking about like single concentrated hits for later on enemies and bosses.
Yeah, and I think the time will come where we take a sword plus or a heavy blade plus or a pummel plus.
But not
like
yet.
Getting 9 strength. So good. Then our strikes just win.
This guy could just attack the one big next turn, couldn't he?
Yes. Yes.
Guess we use flame flame barrier then.
Flame boomerang. Such a sweet name. You're gonna love my flame boomerang.
That sounds like that came from the announcement of DLC for Duke Nukem. You're gonna love my flame boomerang.
Oh man. I'm trying to think of an alteration for I'm here to kick butt and chew bubble gum. But I'm all out of flame boomerang, but I just can't. There's nothing there. Are we blocking Hex?
Yeah. We've already got the spot weakness off, right? So we're already kind of scaled out of this fight. Oh, Thunderclap Bash set up.
Bop, bop, bop.
We're too powerful.
We're too strong. My strikes are too strong for you, traveler. You can't handle my strongest strikes. Second wind is like still really good.
But what about Headbutt?
Love that card.
We have
the question becomes
Lex and spot weakness that we would want to set back to the top of the deck.
Which fight are we getting better at with Headbutt that we want to get better at? Scaling boss fights?
Yeah, it's longer fights, right? So this is shorter. This is longer.
Oh, second wind is I'm considering it also for longer fights, like when we're getting statused by a nemesis or something. But hopefully by the time we get to nemesis, the fight is not so long.
Bless you.
I usually have a mute button when I'm streaming Rhapsody. I don't have a mute button. You have to hear all of my sounds.
That's so good. I've let through a couple sneezes and I think a burp or two on the channel. Do you want the second wind? Let's have a look at our types here, right? We've got
I'm
2 powers.
Convinced that you're right.
Yeah.
I think it's Headbutt.
Cool.
Because I think that our build does enough damage that like this fight, by the time we're choking on statuses, is over. Plus, it's not Ascension 18.
Spot weakness, cleave, headbutt the spot weakness back to the top of the deck.
It might just be headbutt cleave, dog.
Yeah.
Do we need to strength bot?
That's a good point, I guess. Do we need to strength bot, right? The 2 extra. So if this, well, spot weakness always goes out. Let's discuss that, right? So this goes to 23. No weakness this turn, which means if we headbutt the front line, so it's cleave. Oh no, because this isn't going to do that again because the 8 goes negative. So it's
3.
21, and then it's the 5 strength having to figure on top of it. So base is 9 for headbutt, right? Yeah, 9. Okay, so 21, and this would be 14. Takes us to 35 on an individual target, and then the next cleave after the fact would be 13. So total of 35, and then 14. We can take out individual targets with just those. We don't have to use a strength potion here.
Yeah. But can we kill a target this turn with the strike?
Oh.
21.
Right. Sorry, I was thinking about the next turn.
Strike is 11 plus headbutt is 14. 14, 11, 25, 21, 46. So we exactly kill the back line without a strength potion this turn.
I think that makes it pretty clear.
Then we don't need to. Yeah. Perfect. And we're just trying to feed on the middle.
Yep.
I'm gonna eat you. We're very hungry.
We're working up a pretty fierce appetite here, definitely. Most HP saving is just killing the front line. It takes all 3 attacks to do, so.
Just barely off there. If we had drawn feed, I think we could have also blocked.
Mm-hmm.
Do we get to... We're eating, I guess.
Yeah, we are. We can only play 1 attack before it anyway. It's bash and then feed.
Wait. Here's a play. No, we can... Oh, it's already at 9. Dang it. If it were at 8, I was like, we flame barrier, and then we feed next turn, right? But
although that would be trading off the value of the happy flower, because that's going to trigger at the start of the next fight.
Very true. Toxic egg.
In this position where we have like no skills yet? Come on.
Awesome. You know, I love Slay the Spire because I have played this game for 2,500 hours and I still relentlessly laugh like every run.
Oh man, I gave my leg a wild cramp.
Oh no, dude, the Reaper.
Sorry about that slight pause there. The Reaper was so strong that it gave me a cramp.
In real life. That's incredible.
Ow.
Hallmark of a strong card game.
Exactly. So few card games give me cramps.
I think we upgrade Panacea.
Yeah, having the effect for both the Berserk as well as the Flex. Or
Berserk,
two Flexes,
Flex.
should we not want the
Or just enemy
Berserk in
effects.
fight.
You know?
That's
Like,
true. There have
that
been a
could be
lot of
great.
times where we had to use it to prevent, confusion, where we would have liked to do something else.
I don't think we play both cleaves. I think
No,
we
I
just
think we play the first
unupgraded
one and then
cleave.
just strike the back.
Yeah, and hold the other one for the resummon, right? There was a consideration to play a strength potion in this fight, but I think that was a strong enough lead that would be okay. And now we get to Panacea Flex, which is also really good.
We do get to, it's just, still, I look at that turn and I'm like, we could have had such a better turn than that.
We can't do much better than what we're about to do right here, which is full heal on the way out. Are we headbutting something?
I think we headbutt the Flex. If he doesn't attack next turn, we...
Sure.
Actually, we want him to resummon. We want to try and get a Reaper in here somewhere.
Which does mean headbutt Flex, because Thunderclap, because the Reaper will just kill them. Summon your minions. Oh yeah.
Okay, so we're
Is it
definitely...
Flex, Bash, End.
Yeah, right, because we want the Reaper and Feed to kill the backline next turn, and with the Bash, the Reaper is only... Yeah, it's that. It's exactly that. And then we end, right? We don't do another thing.
I think so. It means that our Nunchaku is going to be in a weird place again. But
Yeah,
that's
that's the consideration,
Like,
but I think I prefer
we
the
have the
max
health
HP
now.
as well as current.
okay. Yeah.
Full health, more max health.
Oh, more potions. Hey, you
This
won a
one-
second wind?
This one comes pre-upgraded.
I love this card. I love a one-off second wind. Can we fill it? Take it. We're gonna be rich, Rhapsody.
All right, we're gonna
And
be
you don't
rich.
want normality. You don't. You don't want it.
Still a lot of upgrades in this deck. Flame Barrier and True Grit especially, I just don't really want to play without it. Bash, still. We still only have the one Thunderclap, so
Bash?
if we've got single
Bash
targets, Bash still wants the upgrade.
Looking stinkier and stinkier.
Against the Champ?
Against the champ, we're just gonna win. We're just gonna spot that weakness.
Mm-hmm.
We have so much health too. I
Stick
feel
the
like
flame
I
barrier,
like the
then.
flame barrier. Yeah, I agree. I think this is a lot of utility for the rest of the run.
This is the
I think we
question,
should-
right? We have 523.
We should shop.
Yeah. We also,
We should
you know,
shop.
had a little bit of difficulty deciding what was the most prioritized
Mhm.
upgrade there, which tells me that none of them are
We're doing okay.
exactly.
Yeah. It's all value upgrades from here, right? But like removal. Shop, dude. Hey, how do you feel about having so much money?
I like
Here.
money.
Money. Do you want to just Shuriken Dolly's Mirror card remove? Win.
Which are we dollies mirroring?
It's
Reaper?
probably Reaper, dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I opened the deck and I was like, no, it's probably not the Feed. Like, I just somehow there was like a little blank space over the Reaper that was like,
No,
yeah,
I think
consider
Feed
other
could
things.
be legit. Honestly, you don't need multi Reaper, but like, we won't be mad. It means that in all of our fights, we can greed for feed kills while also being max HP like all the time.
Mm-hmm. And the removal, I guess, is just base strike. Could even be base
Is it-
defend if we want to go berserker.
Dude, is it Bash? I'm serious.
If we're not going to upgrade it, then yes, it's bash.
Like we just got a Shuriken too. Let's just upgrade True Grit.
that messed something up, right? Oops.
Whoa! I've become a stream in a stream.
It is
So Bash is
recursive.
so funny because it's a good card, but it basically needs an upgrade. And I have lots of runs like this to where some point in Act 2, I'm just beyond it. I'm just never going to do it.
Mm-hmm. It's good to be able to recognize that point as well.
Mm-hmm. We'll full heal.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that. Somehow.
We could just... Yeah, we could just eat. Consume the enemy.
We end the fight on full health. You weren't wrong.
So, is it B-Trance time?
Because we can hold it in hand until after we've used both of
Right.
the other debuffs, right? And then it's just a
we're
refill.
gonna have energy. We don't have to use it, or we can use it before we've played the Panacea too, to accelerate a fight with a weird draw. It's interesting, right? Like, I think we just eat the debuffs.
Because we have the full heal in hand.
We're holding the Reaper. Yeah.
Weird.
All fights are now puzzles with very many solutions. It's more of a JRPG than a puzzle game at this point. You just choose what party you want to put out. You want 5 red mages? Go 5 red mages. All right.
I'd like 3 red mages, 6 eggheads,
And a pickle.
And a pickle. If we can get a pickle in
One
there.
pickle, but crisp.
Oh yeah, no, I don't want to be experiencing a gerbness.
Oh my god, how did you... Do you
think we
live
just
on
hold.
YouTube? Are you King YouTube? Is it
It
possible?
is me. You. Last name Tube.
It is me, you. Of the two. That is incredible, man. Sometimes
I'd
when we're
love
not
going
recording,
back to it.
I'll be talking to Raps about YouTube stuff, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you know, like Dr. Philanthrocat, the like #1 up and coming Lowlands New Zealand streamer who talks about falconry."
Yep.
And I'm like, "Yeah, totally. I know about
We're good
that."
friends. We go way back.
Yeah. Of course. I also know every channel. Don't you? How do you know so much YouTube?
I pick
know
it
like
up via osmosis.
5 creators. What's that? By mitosis?
I pick it up via osmosis.
Oh, okay.
No, I pick it up
That
via
makes more sense.
mitosis. I do pick it up via mitosis. I just knew one creator a very long time ago, right? They started eating a bunch of food. I lost track of them after that, but I now know a bunch of creators. Weird.
I'm not really sure what happened after that, but
Man, we're still holding the vigor here, and we're still not getting anything worth investing the vigor into. Do we can't true grit with this Reaper in hand, right? Defend battle trance?
yeah. It looks like a good turn. You could Reaper on this turn if you just wanted to just go ahead and heal to max.
Yeah, because we do have the other Reaper. Seer, Flex, Berserk.
Do whatever you want. You should reap. You should reap. And we'll take a little damage. The enemy will hit us with their attacks. You know, we'll deeply contemplate that they did that to us. We could just kill.
Really? Oh yeah, we have another fight before the end. We can heal up on that one. It's much easier to heal up on other fights that aren't the snake plant, because the snake plant sucks.
Serplant.
So rude.
Ooh.
I mean, it upgrades all of the cards in hand.
It's like kind of... I was actually looking at the Shrug It Off, but the armaments is kind of exciting too.
It doesn't have to be the armaments, right? Because we are preventing the debuff from Berserk. Other than that,
This is just a
most of the
skip.
upgrades are just damage.
What are
This
we
is a
thinking?
skip.
We don't need to block. This is a skip.
We don't
This
need
is a
to
skip.
block?
We have 2 Reapers, and we're gonna have like 200 health.
Are we?
We don't have. We
Okay, no, I now we're on the same page.
we don't
Cool.
have to.
Let's
we
do
don't
it.
have to block.
No, I'm
surprised you didn't
ready
do
to
a question
do a
mark
Berserker.
there. The king of question mark. That could have been thwack.
Feed. It could have been thwack, but I just want to feed,
True.
I guess.
I like feed. Yeah.
It's prioritization, making do that. I guess double defend pass. Your turn.
Oh no. You gonna bring down a burb? Do you believe in sword boomerang?
I do. In retrospect, hindsight's 2020. I wanted to wait until after I threw it to know whether or not I believed in it.
You didn't have to believe in it because we had nunchaku. You still could have brought the bird down, but it was fun to make it into a jamble. Panacea, here we go again.
Deny ourselves a draw so that we can use the Panacea for Berserk instead.
I like that. Ooh. 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 And second wind turns dazes into block. Dang. That enemy look very dead. How are we going to reap and feed?
Because the enemy's no vulnerable anymore, so we can reap and feed on the same turn.
It's all coming up.
It's not to full HP,
Perfect.
though. Which...
It doesn't matter. This is a skip. We need nothing.
I still want a heavy blade.
It's going to have to be like an exhume. It's going to have to be corruption. And that might even be a skip in this run. I would take another Reaper.
I'd happily take another Reaper.
More blood
Dual
healing.
Wield instantly goes into this deck at this point without question.
Oh, yeah.
I think it is either True Grit or Clothesline here. I think it's actually True Grit.
I do still like this Berserk upgrade. I think it's True Grit too, but the Berserk upgrade with Pyramid means that even without an artifact, we can easily land it in almost every fight. Hello, champion. Are you going to be doing some scaling today? May I recommend Reaper Strike Cleave?
Get the point of strength. I'm looking at the world where I use an attack potion instead, so we can save Reaper for a heal at the middle of the fight, but we do have the extra Reaper.
I don't think we'll need it.
Should have been the other order, but oops.
I don't think it'll matter. Am I being too like? I don't.
No, I think you're right. It won't matter.
We can do wrong here, like not much. The only way to do wrong would be to like completely fail to block. How about headbutting a True Grit?
I like it. Are we doing any defending this turn, or are we going for another point of strength?
Strong can't be that wrong.
It can't be, right? We've got the Reaper there. Let's do it. Because all of this is just investment in our future health.
Heal? That's right.
So
So we don't necessarily want to block these debuffs, right?
Definitely not.
This is... What is this one?
Right,
is this the
Battle
taunt?
Trance?
This is vulnerable?
This is... No, this is the weakness coming out, is it not? Excuse me. Is it not?
Maybe it's weakness, yeah. I always get confused. No matter how many times I fight champion, I'm not very good at keeping track of the attacks because my finding is that Act 1 is largely irrelevant. Or Phase 1, rather. It's just a matter of whether or not you get strong enough to win before Phase 2 or during Phase 2.
So we've used our first Reaper. We only have that Reaper finally remaining. I guess we end the turn right now.
You could True Grit. This is going to sound wild, but you could True Grit Second Wind in this fight. And that would be okay.
Sure, let's do that.
We've got Flame Barrier.
Thank you for the free turn. There's our weakness as well as extra vulnerability. Clothesline wants to set up for the next time. Sorry?
We could get another point of strength here.
Clothesline.
Very easily, too.
Headbutt, sword boomerang. Probably headbutt the sword boomerang.
Or headbutt more True Grit. Oh, but we just recycled, so that ain't it. We are about to go to phase change town, so we better be ready.
Mm-hmm. So weakness wears off next turn. I think this is Flame Barrier, Metallicize, maybe even the Defend. No, Flame Barrier, Metallicize, spot weakness.
Yeah, that's game. 13 strength is... The enemy is dead. Ditch a strike.
Yep, we have the ability to get a point of strength as well.
Can we do it without causing a phase shift?
No.
No.
We have far too much strength for that.
Yeah, far too much. So do we... The question is, are we doing it with or without the Sword Boomerang? Are we holding T-Clap Sword Boomerang and doing like cleave, strike? Thunder and True Grit the other strike? I like that line actually.
Yep. Yeah, because the Sword Boomerang's only going to get larger, and this is not the weaken.
This one might have a weak too, but...
I might be wrong. I'm really bad at tracking their debuffs. Oh, we even have the extra.
Is this Reaper then?
Yeah, Thunderclap Reaper.
Okay. Feels weird to not have the T-Clap, but we'll do plenty of damage. This one is only vulnerable or frail, okay. This enemy, I like... Why don't I remember this after 6,000 years? It has been 6,000 years! I'm just gonna look it up while you mercilessly smack this fool.
I promise to show no mercy. Hey, we can even just survive the hit. All of our attacks are too strong, Teak.
Okay. This is it. This is the final time I look this up. Oh my. Do you ever take another Berserk? Have you ever been so wild?
I've been pretty wild. I mean, so the only reason I don't want to take the extra Berserk is any... What is the non-energy relic that we take up next?
I like all sorts of non-energy relics. Like, I would take Astrolabe. Heck, I might take Tiny House. I would take Empty Cage for sure. I quite like Empty Cage here. But honestly, if we're taking an energy card, then it's probably just Corruption, right? This may be Skip.
Is it? Yeah, it may be Skip as well, right? Because in my mind, we already bought the ability to do what Immolate does. That's out of mind, out of hand. I don't really care about it at the moment. Berserk to me is buying the ability not to take the energy relic after this fact, because if we take an energy relic, we're just cycling our hand most of the time, just holding on to the things we don't want to cast.
Yeah.
Corruption with the current deck, like maybe if we're looking towards other things we'll draft, like these are all of our skills.
We do have Toxic Egg, right? So we could get more Flame Barrier pluses. We could get more... There's a lot of good skills that we could theoretically pick up, but...
We could, or we could see none of them as well.
Yeah. Shockwave. Corruption doesn't need many cards. Like a Shockwave and an Impervious, and the Corruption has paid for itself. And because of Pyramid, we are in a position to play them. Corruption is a card that is involved with our most ridiculous top end. Like Corruption is what allows us to laugh our way to the bank if we find a dead branch in a way that we wouldn't be able to do otherwise. But I don't think it's necessary. I really think we could skip. And that might be fun. There's the Astrolabe, man.
There it is.
I really think it's great.
3 strikes or 2 strikes in a defend?
2 defense. Get rid of them.
I love this. I love it.
We have 2 Reapers. Just empty this deck.
There is part of this that is me hedging on your behalf, like assuming that you will want to do the hedge.
Whoa. Was that another feed? And a barricade?
It's another feed, a barricade, and...
Dark Embrace.
Dark Embrace.
If old Corruption, no. That's fine. Barricade is kind of cute. It's interesting.
A little bit. It'll be interesting if we can find a couple.
Face Slap is the attack debuff. It's frail and vuln. and Taunt is the pure debuff. It's weak and Vuln. There's always Vuln.
Mm-hmm.
But one of them has weak and one of them has frail. And this time, I'm going to remember that. For sure.
So both of our max elite paths are 2 elites. Both of them are 2 rests as well as a shop. This one's a little bit more question mark heavy. Gives us some optionality. Well, it does optionality.
Do you want to split this into 2 episodes? Do you want to leave this as a spoil?
That is a good point, well made. Thank you very much. We'll bring you back when we're going into Act 3 and the Act 4 thereafter. For the moment, though, by the way, you can find the links in the description down below.
You have to wait.
You will have to wait. If you skipped to exactly this moment, you're going to have to wait 15 minutes until the next one comes out, because it staggers with only 15 minutes. So if you watched an hour's worth of content in 15 minutes, if we're on 4 times speed, then I'm sorry, you're gonna have to wait a little bit.
Then, incredible.
Oh yeah, no, of course.
These mins talk so slow that I have to watch them at 10x. It's like a list of side effects.
Yeah, exactly. I speed up the list of side effects just because I don't understand him when he's walking that slow. Link in the description. We'll see you there.